The People Station 107 Jamz, the big homie Erik Tee hanging out inside the afternoon jump off. And man, I tell you what, it's very rare do I have occasions where I'm kind of speechless. Where I actually have someone that comes into the studio that is a legend. I mean, basically, all I got to do is say the family's last name, Jacksons. You know who I'm talking about, man. This is one of the siblings from the Jackson family clan. First solo CD ever. Is this correct?
Ever.
I cannot believe that. Tito Jackson is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Tito, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing fine. Welcome to Lake Charles.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here, Jamz.
Now, we got to talk about this. First CD ever. First solo CD ever. Of course,
Yes.
You've done plenty of stuff with your brothers, with the Jacksons. Right. One of my favorite songs was, of course, Heartbreak Hotel. I love State of Shock, from back in the day. But what took so long, man, to come out with your own CD?
Well, I had started CD back in the day, and it was discontinued because the brothers had moved from Motown to Epic. But I was busy being a father and a husband and all these other things, and having the busy schedule of the Jackson 5 pretty much kept me busy.
Yeah.
And so I just felt that I should wait and do my solo stuff a little later on in life. And so I raised my sons, and that whole thing got them into the music thing. And now here it is. It's my turn, my time.
And that's why we call the album Tito Time?
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. Now you were talking about your sons, of course. We all know them as 3T.
That's correct.
They released music from back in the day, and they're also on the new album, too, right?
Yeah, they produced 4 of the cuts on my album, and they're singing on it. They wrote these songs and produced them on me as well. Matter of fact, they were the first producers that came to me and said, "Dad, you need to do a CD because all our uncles and aunts have a CD and our father don't have one."
Yeah.
So, I said, "Sons, I need producers. I need people to work with." They said, "Well, we'll do you." I said, "Okay, let's do something then." So they took me into their studio and started the project. They let their Uncle Michael hear a song or two, and he said it was great and I should continue.
Yeah.
And so that gave me a lot of encouragement. And meanwhile, I started building my own studio so I can work at home more. And my brother passed away during that time.
Yeah.
So it actually put everything on hold for a little while.
Yeah.
And actually, it's been about 2 or 3 years later, I had started recording again. And that led me up to today.
So how does it feel to be in the forefront? I mean, not that you guys weren't equally yoked. I mean, you all played a part very well.
Well, back in the Jackson 5, as you all probably know, I was very quiet. I hardly ever talked or said anything. And I was just quiet. It's just the way I was, I guess. I don't know where it came from. Maybe it come from my mom or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then as I grew older, I began to express myself more. So now I'm more like, hey, whatever, what it is.
Now, you said, of course, with your sons doing producing on the album as well, a lot of folks, if they're pro athletes, if they're musicians, they don't necessarily maybe want their kids to get into this business. Was that just kind of, you're a Jackson, it's in your blood, it's something you're going to do? Did your kids kind of push you and say this is what they wanted to do?
Well, they had gone to a Jackson 5 concert at the Forum in Los Angeles and saw their uncles perform.
Okay.
And they came home and took some mops and brooms and put on our records and was pantomiming. And I said, "You guys like this?" They said, "Yeah, we want to be like you guys." Da, da, da. I said, "Well, you know what? We really sing and we really play these instruments. So if y'all going to be like us, you have to learn how to do this." And I opened up my studio, gave them instruments to work with, got a couple of lessons going, and just got them going. And they worked, they practiced every day, they worked hard, and like 5 years later, they were sounding decent, and I was very proud of them. Of course, I had been working with them. And next thing you know, I'm taking tapes up to Gerald Busby at Motown.
Yeah.
And we had gotten a contract from Gerald Busby over at Motown, and of course, they had told Michael about the whole situation, and Michael said, "Well, you guys should be with Epic because Epic sells more records than anybody, and they're a very nice company." So they did sign with Epic Records, and eventually, once I got and saw what was going on, I moved them from Epic to MJJ, my brother's label.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening.
Now, I mean, obviously, having you in here, I mean, I definitely want to talk more about your album, but we have to talk a little bit about Michael, man, and just coming up into that household. Like, when he decided to go solo, how did you feel? Obviously, the Off the Wall was the first time we got a chance to hear Michael when he came to the forefront.
Well, Michael was always in the forefront. Even in the Motown days, he had a few solo things like "Got to Be There,"
Okay.
whatever. And Michael's a talent in his own. Nobody could deny that. He's one of those talents. No matter what group he would have been in, he would have been outstanding.
Yeah.
And we all realized that he was the nucleus in the Jackson Five, and we love that about him. And we miss that. And what people ask me this question quite frequently: how do it feel to be a brother of Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
It feels great, man. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world because that's my brother. We share the same blood. We share the same brothers and sisters. We
Yeah.
share the same mom and dad. We grew up together. He knows me just like I know him. I know him like no one else other than family members and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it feels great to be a brother of Michael's because the torch that he stood for is so grand that it uplifted everything that the entire family did musically, whether it was the Jacksons, the Jackson Five, or Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
And even in my career today, having him as a brother is a plus to me.
Yeah.
So I thank everyone in the millions of fans out there of Michael Jackson and the Jackson Five and the Jacksons and Janet or whatever. A Jackson fan is a Jackson fan. So I want to say thank you for all your love and support over the years. And we're celebrating 50 years
Wow.
of show business. Not 50 years of being professional,
Yeah.
like from the day of I Want You Back to today. That's not quite 50 years. That's a little less than 50 years, maybe 4 or
Wow.
5 years less.
Okay.
We're celebrating from the times when we used to be in that Volkswagen van and running to New York and opening up for James Brown or Etta James or going to the Rico in Chicago and working with Jackie Wilson or people like that. And that's been 50 years ago.
Wow. And a lot of folks can't say that, especially and still be relevant. I mean, you can put something out like you just did, and
Well, we love what we do.
yeah.
My family loved music. It's always been a part of our life. I remember when we were children, even before the music scene began in our home, my father used to buy records that was popular because he loved music, and he just put them on, and we wear those records out. They were vinyl back then, so you can actually wear a record out
Wow.
practically, and that's how it was. Then we had our Uncle Lawrence, who used to, once we got started with the instruments and everything, my family wasn't a very wealthy family, so he would send us all the latest records to learn on a reel-to-reel tape,
Mm-hmm.
and we would learn all these songs and then go out and do performances, whether it was a wedding or some type of ball for graduation or somebody's birthday. We did all these things.
Everything.
Oh, yeah, and that's the 50 years.
Now with Tito Time, I was looking at some of your collaborations on there. You got Big Daddy Kane.
Yes.
You got Betty Wright.
Yes.
I mean, how did you? I mean, obviously these are people that you grew up, listened
Well,
to,
well,
and
Of course, and Betty Wright is a friend that I had many years ago. I haven't seen Betty now in a little while, but
Okay.
She's a tremendous lady, and I'm just glad she's on my record along
Yeah.
with Big Daddy Kane. The story of Big Daddy Kane, we were looking for a rapper
Mhm.
to do the rap part on Get It Baby,
yeah,
and couldn't get anybody to come to the table because everybody was busy as usual.
Mhm.
And my producer said, "Hey, I know Big Daddy Kane's manager." And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Man, call him." So he called him, sent him the music, and Kane heard it, and Kane asked, "Is this really Tito or somebody he's producing?" Of course, he learned it was me. He said, "Get him on the phone."
Yeah.
I got on the phone. He said, "Hey, man, is this you or somebody you producing?" I said, "No, this is me, Kane." He said, "Man, this is a smash, man. I'm going to hook it up.
Wow.
I'm going to have it back to you in 24 hours, bro. You're going to like what I'm going to do." Did that, and the results shows from that.
And I mean, so what was your plans when you decided to do this album? You said you started, years ago, even when Michael was alive.
Well,
but-
a few things made me do this album. One of the things being that I hadn't done an album.
yeah,
Nobody knew that I even could sing a little because my family was the type of family, everyone has their position. You're the bass singer, you're the alto, you're the tenor, and you're the lead singer, and you're that. So we get a record in the studio, and I already know my part. It's
Yeah.
the lowest part I hear, if I hear one.
Mhm.
So a lot of times, like on Mama's Pearl and all these little things I used to do, and all those I used to make those things up so I can be on the record too.
okay,
Because, Temptations had that low voice thing going,
Yeah.
Melvin Franklin. So I thought I was a little Melvin Franklin, but it wasn't always called for. So I would have to get in this back, actually get behind the mic and think of something creative so I can be on this song too. Because I'll be in there just waiting for them to say Tito, But
Yeah.
So when I got my chance, I made it work for me.
And man, I'm telling you, from what I heard, like just with the album thus far, I think I gotta ask. Tell me this is not going to be the last album.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm just starting, man.
Okay.
I got a lot of music in me, and I'm looking forward to some of the stuff that I plan to do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I've already started on my second album, and I had so many songs that I couldn't put them all on this album. Although there's 14, 15 songs on this album, I say, okay, I need to stop,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna have like a 30-song album. No, it's not the last time you're gonna hear from Tito.
Now we got to say hello to all your fans out there on Facebook Live because you out there, you got to say hello to them. Now
Hi,
speaking of
everybody.
that, you guys you guys actually did a reality show for a minute.
Yes.
I think it was on A&E, right?
Yes.
Is there any other chances of doing another
You know what?
reality type spin?
I don't know, man, because they be looking for that crazy stuff,
Yeah.
and that ain't us.
Yeah.
They be looking for us to knock each other in the jaw, and for me to steal Jackie's car or wreck his car or,
Yeah.
or kiss his wife or something. I don't know what they want, but they ain't gonna see that in the Jackson family. So I guess that's not good TV.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, even we got a chance to see a little bit of you guys, man. And what I really love about just the whole relationship, you were talking about Michael a little bit earlier about, him being, obviously your brother and everything. With you being the older brother, did you guys have relationships as far as him coming to you for advice? How younger brothers do with their older brothers?
Oh yeah, we come to advice for each other.
Yeah.
I might have a question that I would have had asked Michael, one of my younger brothers, and his advice would be very, very good and very pleasant, or vice versa. So yes, we did look out for each other, help school and direct each other in those areas.
So how do you feel about the industry right now? I mean, obviously you're doing this independently.
Well, the industry is the industry, and you have to roll with it the way it rolls.
Okay.
Whether you like it or not, you have to make the best of it, and that's what we do today.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's a better situation or if traditional is better, but I'm used to traditional.
Yeah.
And if traditional was here today, I would love everything even more probably, but there's a bittersweet to the computer.
Yeah.
So I can't knock anything because it's all good and people still enjoying music, and it's easier to get your music out with the computer world too as well.
Yeah. So you like getting out, still doing promotion?
Oh
Basically
yeah,
like
this is fun.
Yeah.
What I was very excited about coming to Lake Charles and coming to Louisiana is because I can get to eat some real gumbo. Finally.
Are you ready for that?
Oh yeah, baby.
I don't know, man. You might not make the next trip.
That's all right.
We
That's
might have,
all right.
have you in Lake Charles overnight.
It's all good with me.
Well, I tell you what, man, we are really,
Callbacks.
really honored to have you in the building. I cannot wait to see. Are your sons, are they working on anything new as well?
Yeah, my sons are working on some new music as well, and I'm hoping to be on their songs as well. So I'm going to go home and crash their studio time and go do some nips on their records.
So how did you feel like, even with them doing stuff on the new album, did you just kind of let them do them? Did you have any input?
I let them produce me.
Okay.
I say, okay, when I get in the studio with my boys, I'm not going to be their dad.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be an artist they're producing. And they took advantage of that. That's what made me mad. It really upset. Dad, you're not doing it right. Do it over.
Really?
But it was mainly, out of all the years,
Yeah.
I brought them up,
Mm-hmm.
and I would talk to them. Hey, pick up that paper or do this or do that.
Oh, yeah.
They got a chance to get me back.
They got you back.
So they made it work, and they thought it was funny, but it all came out good.
That's good,
That's
man.
the most important thing, that it came out good.
And I tell you what, guys, you definitely need to pick that up. Tito Time is available. It is Tito Jackson at his best. And like I said, man, definitely don't be a stranger. Anytime you want to come to Lake Charles, catch a red eye, we
Yes,
got
sir.
you down here.
I'd love to come down here.
That's what I'm talking about. And
Please have me back.
so where can they follow you on social media? I know
They
you're
can
on
follow
Facebook.
me at www.titojackson.com.
Okay.
Or they can follow me on Facebook, Tito Jackson 5, Twitter, Instagram, Tito Jackson 5,
Yeah.
and Twitter, Tito Jackson 5 at Twitter.
Tito
Or Twitter,
Jackson.
however that goes. I'm not-
Tito Jackson, hey, you on it, man. You on it. I tell
Thanks,
you what,
man.
I'm really proud of the piece of work that you guys that you put out, man. And Tell your sons I said hello. Hopefully, maybe they see me here if they're following you on Facebook Live there.
Absolutely. And
That's-
I'll be listening out for you to.
Man, thank you
see
very
if
much.
that you're spinning those records.
Of course, got that. Tito
Yes.
Time. The new CD is available everywhere it is sold. Make sure you guys go pick that up today. I tell you what, it is an honor. It is a pleasure to speak to this man right here. Tito Jackson live in Lake Charles right here on the People Station, 107 Jamz and 107jams.com.
That's right.